You know that feeling when you're in a conversation and suddenly you realize you and the other person just don't agree? And it gets a little awkward? Well, what if I told you a single phrase could completely change that vibe? Today, we're going to look at a really cool Indonesian idiom that can turn a potential conflict into a real connection.
Right? We've all been there. You're in a meeting, maybe just chatting with a friend, and bam, you see things from completely different planets. It can get so tense and uncomfortable, but honestly, there's a much better way to handle it.
And there is. In Indonesian, there's this amazing phrase that's basically a key. It unlocks healthier, more productive discussions, even when you have totally different viewpoints. It just reframes the whole situation, taking it from a fight to a chance to actually understand each other. And that key is the idiom berbeda pendapat. Now, it literally translates to different in opinion, but trust me, the cultural and conversational weight it carries is so much bigger than that. This is the phrase we're going to break down today.
Okay, so let's really get into it. What does berbeda pendapat truly mean when you say it? Because it's not just about stating a fact, it's about setting a totally different tone for the conversation.
So, at its core, the definition is pretty straightforward, It's used when people have different views on something. It's this simple acknowledgement that, hey, we're both looking at the same thing, but we're seeing it from completely different angles. But here's where it gets really interesting. The nuance. Using the phrase berbeda pendapat doesn't mean you're starting a fight. Actually, it's often the opposite. It kind of celebrates that we think differently. It sends a signal that, hey, our differences are probably based on our own unique experiences or tastes, and that can be the perfect starting point for a really great, healthy discussion. So, of course, the most important part is figuring out how to actually use it. Let's look at a couple of examples and see how this phrase works in a real conversation. You'll see how it makes things feel more collaborative instead of confrontational. All right, here's our first one. In English, you'd say, we may vary in opinion on the best way to complete this project. And in Indonesian, it's, kita boleh berbeda pendapat tentang cara terbaik menyelesaikan proyek ini. See that? It just immediately opens things up and validates both sides right from the get-go. And here's another one. In English, they vary in opinion regarding who the most suitable candidate is. In Indonesian, mereka berbeda pendapat mengenai siapa kandidat yang paling cocok. Again, it's so neutral. It's not about who's right or wrong. It's just stating a fact. Different perspectives exist. So why does mastering a simple phrase like this actually matter so much? Well, it's because it fundamentally changes how we approach disagreements. It turns it from a battle you have to win into, like, a puzzle you can solve together. And that really gets to the heart of it. Disagreement is totally natural. It's normal. Using language that accepts this is the very first step toward having better conversations. The phrase berbeda pendapat makes it okay to not see eye to eye on everything. So this one little phrase basically gives you a roadmap. First, you acknowledge that other viewpoints are totally valid. Second, just by saying it, you create this open, safe space for a real discussion to happen. And third, from that space, you can start to build truly healthy communication where everybody feels like they're being heard.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. The next time you disagree with someone, how are you going to approach it? Maybe just remember that you don't actually have to agree. You can simply berbeda pendapat. And that might just be the best starting point you could ask for. Thanks for watching.